There was a silly damn bird called a phoenix back before Christ. Every few hundred years he built a pyre and burned himself up. He must have been the first cousin to man. But every time he burned himself up, he sprang out of the ashes. He got himself born all over again. And it looks like we're doing the same thing over and over, but we've got one damn thing the phoenix never had. We know the damn silly thing we just did. We know all the damn silly things we've done for 1,000 years, and as long as we know that and always have it around where we can see it, someday we'll stop making the goddamn funeral pyres and jumping in the middle of them. We pick up a few more people that remember every generation. Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451. Once you've been through a disaster, it's an admirable thing to be able to start over. And sometimes you take what you've learned and you're reborn even better than before. Isn't it crazy that some variation on this concept drives almost every major belief system in the world? It's one of the most universal, complex human ideas. And you know what? The world of Pokemon believes in it too. Now sit back and relax, because a legendary episode of the Dex all about Ho-Oh starts right now.
Man, Ho-Oh is an awesome Pokemon, isn't it? Originally, it was the eye-catching cover legendary for Pokemon Gold version, one half of the second generation main series of Pokemon games, aka the best ones.
Maybe so, but this Pokemon's a whole lot more than pretty wings that can light up in 7 colors and leave a rainbow in their wake. It's also a great judge of character, appearing before only the most pure-hearted trainers and granting them eternal happiness. Plus, it's the guardian of the skies. Sweet deal.
It was revealed to the public in the premiere episode of the Pokemon anime, which aired in Japan on April 1st, 1997, and in the US on September 8th, 1998. Isn't that crazy? Pokemon Gold and Silver weren't released until almost 2 years later. That's the longest time ever between a Pokemon's reveal and their official release, even though we didn't really know its name yet.
Ho-Oh makes its roost in the Bell Tower north of Ecruteak City, but ever since its counterpart Lugia lost its roost at the Brass Tower in a fire 150 years before Gold and Silver, it doesn't really come around all that often.
Yeah, it's likely that this is because of some sort of mutual respect or even friendship with Lugia, Guardian of the Seas, which actually makes them the only mascot legendaries that don't have a conflict with one another.
Whoa, yeah! Groudon v Kyogre, Dialga v Palkia, Reshiram v Zekrom, Xerneas v Yveltal. Heck, even Mewtwo v Mew, even though they aren't exactly mascots, but still, Gen 2's legendaries are way more chill, and that's cool. Oh, ew, awful accidental pun.
Whew. Yeah, man, that was pretty rough, but you know what's even rougher?
Our admittedly rocky attempts to find a unifying theory behind the mythology of Pokemon?
You're damn right, my man. It's time for the Pokemon creation myth.
Well, you know, you gotta consider...
Etc.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
So just to give ourselves some context, we should explain that Ho-Oh is actually a romanized spelling of the Japanese Ho-Oh that aids Westerners with pronunciation. It means phoenix, but more specifically, Ho-Oh is based off the Chinese phoenix, which are called Feng Wang.
Feng Wang is often depicted alongside dragons in Chinese art because the dragon is considered male, while the Feng Wang, and possibly Ho-Oh, although it's technically considered genderless, is largely seen as a female presence. And just imagine Ho-Oh as a female. Kinda works.
Also, Feng Wang is littered with layers upon layers of symbolism. Its body parts represent anything from celestial bodies like the sun, the earth, and the moon, to ideological properties like virtue, propriety, and credibility. This bird really means something, and I think that's why seeing it is considered such a reward in the games.
But of course, phoenixes are most famous for their life cycles, which start and end with a burst of flame, repeating forever in an immortal circle. Above all else, the phoenix is a symbol of rebirth and starting anew and letting go of your past, and that's exactly what Ho-Oh represents in the Pokemon world too, and it's the specifics of this story that are going to add a little bit to our overarching Poke myth this week.
Yeah, so remember how Lugia's Brass Tower burned down? The fire started after it was struck by a bolt of lightning, and while Lugia was thankfully able to escape, 3 other Pokemon were lost in the flames.
It was an awful tragedy, but our pal Ho-Oh wouldn't have it, and before it left its tower for good, it used its power to resurrect those lost Pokemon into Entei, Raikou, and Suicune. Awesome, right? But here's the kicker. The popular going theory is that originally, the Pokemon that died were a Flareon, a Jolteon, and a Vaporeon.
Yeah, man, and there's evidence too. Their stat spreads are pretty similar, not to mention their types. They're all 4-legged critters, and all the monks and kimono girls use evolutions in the Tin Tower. It's like an important part of their culture.
Plus, in Gen 5, when the beasts got hidden abilities, Entei got Flash Fire, Raikou got Volt Absorb, and Suicune got Water Absorb, which are all the main abilities of their respective evolutions. What does it have to do with the Poke myth?
Well, if it's true that legendary Pokemon have the ability to elevate regular Pokemon to legendary status, that helps explain how legendary Pokemon seem to be around for so long, doesn't it? Maybe the immortal cool girl Ho-Oh just swoops in and refreshes them every once in a while like a boss.
Yeah, that makes sense. Imagine being a regular Pokemon and realizing you're special enough to be made legendary. That's like the biggest feather in your cap ever. But it also raises another exciting question. What if the legendary pantheon isn't always exactly the same?
Oh, whoa, yeah, like Entei, Raikou, and Suicune didn't already exist when Ho-Oh made them, so what if they were created to replace a trio that already existed? Like, what if one day they became the next Lake Trio, or replaced the legendary birds? That could be the first step toward explaining why primal Pokemon look so much different than their modern counterparts.
Yeah, man, I think we might actually be getting somewhere with these segments. Everything just adds a little more to the myth. It's awesome!
Dang, that segment always gets me so hyped. I just want to fight something.
Right? Well, no sweat, dude. Let's teach the people how to fight with a big, colorful bird.
Wait, like a peacock?
What? No, like Ho-Oh.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Pokemon. Ho-Oh's always been a solid Uber, but with a hidden ability Regenerator, this fire-flying type finally has a way around Stealth Rocks to become seriously scary. Start with an Adamant one and super train it in HP and attack with a little tiny bit in special defense, like 52 points.
Regenerator restores a bunch of your health when you switch out, but because of Ho-Oh's typing and because you should be running a Life Orb for even more attack boost, a move like Roost is super necessary, and it comes with the added bonus of softening the blow of Rock-type attacks when you can predict them properly.
From there, just lay on the damage. Brave Bird and Sacred Fire for stab and Earthquake for coverage. So powerful, so bulky, so cool. This is a good set, guys.
Of course, that's not the only way to train a Ho-Oh, so as always, here are a few random thoughts.
While Roost removing your flying type for a turn can help with rock moves, it also leaves you open to the ever-present Earthquake. Use Recover instead if you want to avoid that issue.
Bulk plus recovery moves makes Ho-Oh a prime substitute user as well. Use it instead of Earthquake when you really want to dig in your heels. Or claws, I guess. The bird.
And finally, like most bulky Pokemon, Toxic is always a great standby choice if you think you're going to need it to stall someone out. But don't go looking for a friend after, it makes people mad, yo. Nobody likes that.
And that's it! Ho-Oh, the circle of life is different for legendaries, I guess. That's cool.
If you like what you see, why not subscribe? And if you already are subscribed, why not support us by heading over to patreon.com/thatonevideogamer to see all the great weekly donation incentives.
Who knows, you too could have your name scroll over our credits. And thanks for watching. I'm PokeKellz.
And I'm Ray Bradbury, I guess. Tune in next week for another topsy-turvy episode of
The Dex. Woof. Whoa.
Say woof.
Woof. Woof.
Just say woof.
Woof. Woof.
Do you know the word that means what a dog sound is?
Woof.
That's the word that it is.
It's a weird thing to say. I don't say woof in my life. You say it. You say it.
It's a line.
Woof. I'll say woof. All right.
Just say woof.
All right, I'm gonna say it. I don't say woof. That's what dogs do.
Woof. Woof. Woof.
Woof.
Hi, Woof. Can you say woof?
Everyone can say it.
Woof.
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 Yeah, good boy.